hate you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Hell no. No. Mm-mm. What is poppin', everybody, and welcome to episode 22 of 20,000 Films Under the Sea. I'm one of your captains tonight, Noah Pearson, alongside my wonderful co-host. It is Devin Brevin, the dude.
Hola.
Hola. What's happening, sir?
Hola. Oh, just chilling, dude. I woke up, played some Destiny. I caved, and since all the Destiny content was on sale on Xbox, I bought it on my Xbox so I can play in my living room when I don't want to be in my office. You know what I mean?
How much was it?
I got Lightfall for like $6 and Witch Queen for like $4.
Okay.
And then the Final Shape was only like 20 something bucks on sale. So I was like, yeah.
I wonder if it's on sale.
I was gonna
PC.
I was gonna kick you shit for that, and then I was just like, oh yeah, I own Dredge on Xbox and PlayStation, and Switch. And
so
that's not the only game I've done that with.
Oh,
so.
same. It's not.
And you get the free pass.
Yeah, and it since it's cross save too, I'm just playing on the same account. You know,
at least you get access to all the same shit. You're not starting over.
Yeah. So I actually was kind of impressed with how it was running on my Xbox, because I was like looking at all the settings and stuff, because it's been a long time since I played Destiny on Xbox, right? Like a long time. I've been playing on PC the last couple of years.
Right.
Obviously I had to get all the DLCs, right? And then I was sitting there, I was like, this is playing at 120 hertz in 4K? What? You know what I mean? I was I was kind of surprised. I was like, okay.
The next gen consoles run them great. It looks really awesome on my PlayStation 5.
But yeah, I had a good time on it, and it was just nice. I was just chilling in my recliner, just drinking my coffee and playing games, you know.
Nice relaxing Friday, my friend. Nice relaxing Friday. We also have our Hellfire and Brimstone. It is Garrick Bartholomew.
Hi.
You also
fresh from the fucking theater, like literally
fresh out. You are off of it, man.
From the theater, like y'all got to go yesterday, but I went and saw Blink-182 yesterday, so I went and saw that today.
Sounds like a good couple days.
It was.
Who they play with?
The opener was they had two openers on their bill. They had Landon Barker, which is obviously Travis Barker's son. He had he has an alt punk sort of group. The vibes kind of gave me a mix of like modern punk with the what's the artist with some Youngblood vibes.
Wow. Okay.
And he was decent. He was a decent artist. I mean, Travis Barker is kind of fucking insane, actually. Like, kind of actually fucking insane as a drummer. Like, he talented beyond whatever Blink-182 fucking needs by infinite amounts. Yeah, infinite amounts.
Do you know what band he came from before he joined Blink-182? Because he's not their original drummer. He came in on the second record.
No, I know he came in. I think he came in either Dude Ranch or Enema of the State, but he's been there ever since.
Yeah, he's from. He used to be in a punk hardcore band called Cancer Bats.
Oh, he was in Cancer Bats. I didn't realize that.
But I've never even heard of that band.
Yep. Yeah, that was a name I saw a lot when I was in high school. I never listened to him, but.
But yeah, no. Travis is absolutely fucking insane. They played an insane set, and then Pierce the Veil. Pierce the Veil was actually was actually the opener.
They're
so good. Kind of a strange bill for the all in all lineup, but Actually, Pierce the Veil fucking killed it. I like, it was very strange, and I also had like weird proud dad moment, like a teeny tiny bit when they closed out with King for a Day, and I was just like, oh, I remember seeing this at Warped Tour. Like, you guys are in an arena now. I'm so happy for you guys.
Dude.
Like,
Yeah, man.
I'm so happy. But like, I hadn't really listened to them like much in recent years. I just kind of drifted away from like their sound, which has obviously changed as they've gotten older too. They played a song last night called Past the Nirvana, and that shit went the fuck off. Like, I was just like, okay, all right, okay. Like, it definitely, like, I actually ended up more hyped for that for King for a Day, and I love King for a Day.
Dude,
But go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, A Day to Remember is playing here on Sunday, and like I kind of want to go, and I was gonna go until they came out with that last song that they came out with, Feedback or whatever, and I just sat there and I listened to that, and I'm like, Jeremy, what have you done to this band?
Well, Day to Remember is pretty notoriously fucking good, as we all know. Their live show is fucking impeccable, and I saw that they're
the thing
they're
is, though,
playing.
is like, I didn't hate Feedback. Like, I know everybody in the scene's talking shit. Like, I understand why everybody is talking shit on it, because like, it's fucking arena. Like, it is like cookie cutter arena rock. Like, it's not their most. It's definitely not their most original work. But like, the thing is, though, is like, it's at the end of the day, like, it's not a bad song. It's just probably not to your taste.
Well, here's my thing. You don't have to write cookie cutter arena rock to play in arenas anymore.
No, and I'm not saying they did,
You
but
know
like,
what I mean?
I didn't remember always kind of does. They've always done whatever the fuck they wanted. And like, look, they got away with making a track with Marshmello, and arena rock song is not going to be the death
And
of
I
them.
hated that too.
I like that
It was
whole
okay.
record.
It was a
I'm
fun
not even
one.
gonna-
And here's the other thing, though.
But anyways,
4 Year Strong is on that bill, and their new shit is fucking good. Like,
Then go for them.
really good.
Then go for them.
And Story
Yeah,
So
their new
Far
stuff
is
is-
on the bill, but they have the most boring stage presence nowadays. They like literally no energy. They just stand there,
Which is a
and they're just
bummer,
like,
because their live show used to be so good. So
Yeah.
Dude, Blink killed it. They had a really good set. Lots of they had pyrotechnics, which I was not fucking expecting. And like, they had like a really, really good light show. Like, super, super fucking interesting light show. And dude, I'm so glad that Tom's back in the band. Like, like, no joke, the first thing, like, they came out on stage, and they're like, what's up, Salt Lake City? And he was just like, I just have one question for you guys. And like, dead silence for like 30 seconds, right? He's like, so what is soaking? And I fucking was in tears. I was in tears, like literally crying. I was just like, I'm so fucking glad this band is back together in like its entirety. And then it pans to like the fucking like the general admission crowd that's like in like the pit like area that's like next to the stage. We were like, wait the fuck back, right? But like, and like, there's like children that are obviously too young and have no fucking business being at a Blink-182 show.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I was just like, that's parenting done right, because they probably were listening to that shit. Like, and oh, dude, like, every time it would pan to those kids too, those motherfuckers were singing along. So. But no,
yeah,
it was
good.
It was an incredible show. They were a bucket list band for me, and I'm so like finally getting to 2 bucket list bands in 2 years. The other one was Depeche Mode. Just because those motherfuckers are just getting old. I'm worried they were gonna die.
I was gonna say my so you know how I'm sales assistant to like one of the top salespeople at my company, right?
Yeah.
His favorite band in the world is Depeche Mode,
Dude.
and he was telling me about how he like traveled the world last year and like went to 8 of their shows. He went and saw them in like Ireland and London and Greece and like 5 times in the US.
Dude, that's crazy commitment.
Yeah, he loves them.
For their age, they actually put on a really fucking stellar performance.
Yeah, he was telling me he's about to go see Smashing Pumpkins here in like next month, and he's like flying out for it and everything.
That's a good one. I'd like to see them too. But yeah, so that's what I did. Then saw Blink yesterday, fresh out of the theater, to discuss what we're doing here this evening. Or now it's been a great start to my jump start to my weekend.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to transition away from the Shipwreck Show and move on to 20,000 Films, because this is 20,000 Films Under the Sea, your choice for all the nerdy pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you want each and every week. If you like that, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access episodes before they go live on podcast and video services near you. But if you've emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that is wonderfully cool with us, because you can watch us record this show live right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show, just like Swamp Witchery is, and just like Esco Boo Boo is. We love you guys. We love you guys.
Love you.
If you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime. DJ, tell them. I got it. What?
Prime Gaming.
And we would love for you to give that to us to help keep the lights on and cameras rolling. We need to have this. Wait, I don't understand why Devin is not like the designated DJ guy. You know what I mean?
Well, now we can just say that. See, we've never had that conversation before, but now I'll just be there.
It's funny that we're making Devin the designated DJ, because it's just DJ.
Prime Gaming.
But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, hitting subscribe, or by leaving a review on our podcast channel by searching 20,000 Films Under the Sea, and we'll be there waiting for you. Garrick, my man.
Yes.
My good sir, we have some director's commentary. Guys, please check out our latest episode of Death Ratio over on YouTube and your podcast service of choice. We got a chance to talk about why expansions don't get Game of the Year, as well as just some like pretty wacky, wild fucking energy we had for the entire episode. That episode, we were on some shit that evening, unfortunately, but you guys can catch that over on your platform of choice. And then, guys, next week we are back to some Splash Damage. We're going to be playing some fun video game that we've been actually waiting to play for a really long time. And this game's finally out now. It's been out for like a few weeks, actually. And we're like, well, fuck. I mean, we've been wanting to play it. We might as well play it now. So, yeah, Hyperboxed Uncharged. We're going to be playing that next week. So hang in. It's Toy Soldiers and toys just all slaughtering each other.
It's Hypercharge Unboxed.
Oh, hyper, my.
What did he say it was?
I said Hyperboxed Uncharged, I think.
Yeah.
Close enough. Same
How
game,
very
right?
that's
the game
that's
when
something that I would do, Eddie.
you're playing as guns that are shooting each other with toys, right? Is that what it is? In that one?
That was a very mean thing for you to do.
Yeah, anyways, guys, we have some fun stuff for y'all tonight. Devin, what are we getting into next, my friend?
We are getting into the cut of the final.
El Cato Finale. I don't know. How do you say cut in Spanish? Esco, how do you say cut in Spanish? Please tell us in chat. Guys, tonight for the final cut, we are reviewing the brand new hit Nicolas Cage horror film, Longlegs.
Legs long.
Legs long.
Long legs.
Legs long.
Long legs.
Long legs.
I was killed. The Justice League still $60. I mean $70. That's wild.
It's free on Prime, actually.
Long legs.
Long
FBI agent Lee Harker is assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes an unexpected turn, revealing evidence of the occult. Harker discovers a personal connection to the killer and must stop him before he strikes again. Released on July 12th, 2024. Directed by the Oz Perkins, known for some works with Gretel and Hansen. Hansen. The Twilight Zone and The Black Coat's Daughter. Music by one Zilji. Could not find anything on this composer at all. Like like this is the first and only thing they've been credited with. So I put a big old fat NA right here. It's a big old NA. Not available. Budget of $10 million. Actually, technically less than $10 million is what I was seeing. Box office, the previews so far, 3.5 million. They are on track to blow their budget out of the water with this one, boys. Runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes. Some fun facts for you guys here. Writer and director Osgood Perkins is horror movie quote-unquote royalty. He is son of Anthony Perkins, the actor who is best known for playing Norman Bates in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, as well as its 3 sequels. Good to know. Good to know. Actually, I think a lot of people were trusting this movie, not just because of Nick Cage, but because Oz Perkins was behind it. Does great work. In an interview, Oz Perkins notes that Nicolas Cage loved the film's script so much that Cage surprisingly refused to rewrite any of it and memorized it in its entirety and as it was.
Wild. I also was looking up more stuff on Zilji just in case. And literally on soundtrack.net, which is like the credit system for like films and TV and stuff, this is the only property that they are credited to.
That's did I not say that? I thought I said that.
No, you said you were looking for it and you couldn't find it, but I like went to like the main like soundtrack.
He was just confirming what you said.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because I was just like, well, that's wild.
Corroborating, if you will.
Yeah,
that
like
was
this is their first major thing.
Only thing I could find at all was this.
Yeah.
It was the only credit, literally in anything. Actually, it took me a while to even find the credits for that because a whole bunch of other random bullshit came up when I was searching for it.
Ziggy, blah 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 blah. Like all this other stuff.
Zagel, I think, came up at one point. Anyways, Micah Monroe was kept completely in the dark over co-star Nicolas Cage's transformation as the titular serial killer Longlegs, and had never seen Cage in character until they shot their first scene together, which also happened to be Cage's final day on set. During filming, Monroe wore a microphone on her shirt, which had managed to capture her heartbeat. Monroe's initial resting rate was 76 beats per minute. When the first scene ended, it had spiked to a rate of 170 beats per minute. The sound of her panicked heartbeat was then used in a final promotional trailer prior to the movie's July 12th release date. In an interview with IndieWire, Monroe recalled, quote, "It was insane. It was absolutely insane. As you know, he completely transformed. There's no trace of Nick in there. His voice, his mannerisms. He was very much method on this, so it was in character, and it's a very disturbing character, to say the least." Boys, it is time, my friends. It is time. We need to talk about this movie because we've been kind of excited to get a little taste of Nicky Cage coming back to us here. And I want to toss the ball firstly to Devin. Devin, my good sir, what were your thoughts of Longlegs?
Cuckoo. Dude, this movie takes you on a bit of a ride. It is like a lot of people are talking about how this is supposed to be the scariest movie of the summer. I do want to reiterate, as much as this is a serial killer movie, as much as this has horror elements to it, this is to its core a thriller. 100%. Anybody who hasn't seen this movie yet and is listening to this is a thriller movie. I want to emphasize that this is a movie that very much dives into mystery. This is an FBI agent trying to find a serial killer who they haven't been able to find for decades. Now, this movie definitely has some creepy elements to it, though. I do not want to discredit that in any way. It definitely has. I want to say, there's like different levels to creepy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like ways that you would explain it. And this is kind of on that unnerving feeling, like you kind of sit there when you're watching this movie. I want to say, granted, Ernell did laugh a few times, and that mainly was because of somebody else in the theater.
Yeah, there's a fucking guy in our theater who every time there was something even like a tiny bit funny, he was like, ha 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 ha.
Like out loud, out loud.
And I was like, oh my god, man! Like it wasn't that like it was goofy, but it wasn't that fucking Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Which actually, like, first of all, this movie is set in Oregon as well.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
It is set
Goddamn.
here, and a lot of the scenery kind of reminds me of where Garrick used to live. If I'm going to be honest.
Actually, I got confirmation on where the setting is. It's in Bend. It's around Bend, Oregon.
Oh, Bend, Oregon. Okay.
Surprisingly enough, yeah. And I only know that because the thing in the pre-roll that I played, if you call a phone number that Neon put out, you can get a voice over of Longlegs singing "Happy Birthday" to you in Longlegs fashion. And the caller ID location on the phone number is Bend, Oregon. Very unsettling.
Yeah. For anybody who knows, that's only like 3.5 hours away from me and Ernell. And Ernell was actually just there last week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's actually me. I'm Longlegs.
No, it's that guy that was laughing in our theater. But going back to it, Monroe's performance was actually fantastic, if I could say so myself. She is such a she plays such an uncomfortable but intelligent person in this movie, and you get that a lot through her mannerisms and the way that she interacts with like other characters in the movie. And there isn't a whole lot of characters in this movie, honestly. Very minimal, like less than 12, like very much so. There's like one scene where you actually see 12 people in it, I feel like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the way that she like delved into her her character was very good, I thought. It also did sound like she was wearing a microphone the whole movie, kind of like what they said with the heartbeat thing, because there were times where her voice was a little louder than I think it
Oh my
should
god.
be.
Okay. Can I get confirmation on this? Because for quieter movies, like horror movies, thrillers, things like that, I have a like hyper drive setting on my hearing aids.
I could hear it.
Dude, okay, that's kind
The sound design in this movie was fucking insane. Actually,
So-
Yeah.
it was kind of I loved it.
So I
But,
was
everything was cranked up. That like
Mhm.
everything that would normally be a very small sound was uncomfortably fucking loud.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Because one of the first things I noticed in this movie was
Doors.
is how much Micah Monroe Lee is breathing in this fucking
Yeah.
movie. Like,
Yeah.
Her breathing and fucking doors. The sound of
Yeah.
doors opening and closing.
dude, it was.
And
I
I think-
thought I was tripping for a second. Oh, thank
Nope.
you,
Yeah.
thank you, gentlemen. for
Yeah,
confirming.
I think that they emphasized that on purpose is what I was going to get into, because they really they wanted to show like Lee's character's like anxiety and fear, and like how she's trying to overcome that to work this case, right?
Mhm.
And I thought that was really cool, because a lot of the times when you see horror movies, everything's quiet until something big happens, right? But yeah, I heard your hearing aid going off. I heard all the feedback and shit. I was like,
Yeah, it got to a
okay.
point where I was getting really annoyed, and so I was like, okay, I'll adjust it a little bit, and so eventually it
Yeah.
went away. But like, yeah, it was
yeah.
a pain in the ass,
Yeah.
especially during the trailers. That was bullshit.
But man, is this a movie that tells a story with the settings? And let me tell you, when you see this movie, make sure you're paying attention to the settings and the scenes that the characters are involved in. And I 100% know that there are things that I missed, but there are things that I saw that I know Ernell saw too, and was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, we were both like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah. This movie tells a story in more ways than one, and I really want to actually rewatch it so I can see if I can catch on to some more things I might have missed that leads into the execution of the climax and everything of this movie. Because there's definitely clues and hints, which I love horror movies that do that. When a mystery movie that is in front of you actually puts clues to the mystery for the viewer, I think that is genius cinematic storytelling. And right there, that gets points from me right away, because that's just something I like, seeing the clues to the mystery unfold before me, where the characters in the movie don't even see them. I like seeing Easter egg type stuff. We gush over that in comic book movies, right?
Of course, right.
So now, Nick Cage, Arnell said it himself. I see why Nick Cage was picked for this movie.
They made it pretty obvious why Nick Cage was the man for this fucking role, dude.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if there really is many people that can play that part. I think Nick Cage has been very careful and very smart about the roles he's picked over the last few years, and this is no different. He did a good job. He played his character very well, and I can't say a whole lot about his character, because that's the whole point of this movie. You need to know about the character.
Yeah, that's fair.
All I'm gonna say is cuckoo.
Yeah.
Cuckoo. But I enjoyed this film. It's not a perfect film by any means, but it's a very good film. It is a very good film. And you guys should definitely watch it, especially if you're a fan of thriller, especially if you're a fan of Nick Cage, especially if you're a fan of mystery. The horror element and jump scares are very minimal, and there's only a couple parts. And even those couple parts that it happens, I want to say the major one when it happened was kind of weird.
It wasn't really like a jump scare as much as it was just like a you know what I mean? Oh, I'm here. Well, hey, when you hear someone's coming through your front door, you know what I mean? It was like that. And you're like, oh shit, well,
yeah, and it was very random too, in the way that was executed. But like knowing why it was executed that way kind of makes sense. But it just, I don't know. To me, it felt like it's like, okay,
That's fair.
So, but I would only say there was only one jump scare. This movie is very much so banking on the mystery and the thrill aspect of the movie, of the story, I should say.
Agreed, my friend. Garrick, my good sir, what were your thoughts of Longlegs?
This takes place, like Devin said, this takes place in Oregon. This is absolutely like a serial killer thriller, with some horror elements. Honestly, I got a lot of like similar tone and vibes from this film as I kind of do from Silence of the Lambs. Honestly, like it's not a scary movie. Like I definitely like it uses scary concepts, or like concepts that people would find very uncomfortable and very unnerving. But I didn't find the film. Find the film like scary, like truly scary. They inject a lot of anxiety into the film, which they do really well throughout. And they do this by with really like almost excellently, like most excellently, in my opinion. It was like my favorite part of the movie was the sound design. I thought the sound design was really, really stellar. I liked that, like I could tell that like they had specifically sounds and things cranked up to 11, and it kind of gave you this like heightened sense of awareness that like kind of puts you in the same seat as Monroe's character, like with like kind of experiencing this like sense of like adrenaline and anxiety that her character is pretty much kind of sensing throughout the film. So they did a really good job injecting the scenes with a sense of like anxiety and stress and dread that like the character is absolutely feeling throughout the movie. They also use like, I don't know if you guys noticed this as well, but like they used a lot of like just super mundane shots, like really mundane shots, but they used them in like such a way that like it felt very artsy, like almost Wes Anderson like. where like it was like this film actually felt really really artsy to me. Like in which if I recall, this was showcased originally at film festivals, correct?
Mhm.
Yes,
It was.
Which okay,
Yeah.
but I absolutely get film festival vibes from this movie. Like upper tier of that, like it's definitely like it's a cut above for like an indie film. It's like, but I definitely I can see like the film festival film influence in this movie kind of all throughout. Like it uses very simple shots. Not to say that they're boring. It's just like they take very like traditional and mundane shots to like great. They use them to great effect. I will say the plot is not uninteresting, but the majority of it is pretty safe. It doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel or do anything like that. It's very occult based. The film is only going to be as anxiety or stress driven or as terrifying as your willingness to believe in God is. That's basically what this like. That's where like the fear in this film is going to come down to. If you don't believe in make believe, then this movie's not scary. I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. Like, but like it like as like I am a firm believer in like it's a hill I'm gonna die on that like if you want to do a religious horror and like I would like you just need to go take notes from The Conjuring because they did it right.
Surprisingly so. Yeah.
Yeah, but like so like this definitely uses Satanism as like its mode of transportation. It did some cool things with some tropes that I hadn't really seen before. I don't want to spoil it because it's not shown in any of the trailers, so I'm going to keep it light. But Longlegs' method of interacting with his victims was interesting. That was interesting. So like they took a very basic trope and found a way to put like a cool little spin on it. I will say, like all in all, though, that like the ending though didn't hit for me. The ending didn't really land the way I wanted it to. If you enjoy books or if you just enjoy horror on the whole, this is a Stephen King ass ending all day. All day. Like I could tell where they wanted to go with it, but it didn't feel tight. Like I felt like there was a better, more resolute way that they could have ended it, and they probably could have done it with a much shorter scene and to a much greater effect. Like so, but like the film does have a good tone, Devin.
Did you get the feeling? Because I kind of got this too, and I've been thinking about it. With the way that they ended the movie, doesn't it feel like they set it up for another one?
Yes, with the thing that was left behind, 100%. Right, you got to leave that franchise opportunity, and I think that's where these sorts of movies like kind of miss. They're like, I don't necessarily need that cliffhanger. Like, it's okay for it to be like a package deal and like and it for end like Barbarian was a really good example. Like that movie just fucking ends. Like it doesn't, but it doesn't leave like it doesn't necessarily leave room for an interpretation of a sequel, right? Like it just does what it needs to do, and then like, oh, that's the end of this story. And I didn't really feel like that we really got any resolute. This definitely felt like a franchise opportunity ending. There's a lot to like here. The film's very interesting. It's super stressful, definitely anxiety driven. The plot's good. It definitely takes full advantage of like that 1960s to 1980s like serial killer no DNA era, right? It definitely like especially with it being in the Pacific Northwest, right? Because the motherfuckers be serial killing up there for some reason. And so like they knew their setting, they knew the story they wanted to tell. They did it very effectively. It just wasn't necessarily anything crazy or innovative, in my personal opinion. So like all in all, like I feel like if you're a horror like buff, there's if you're like a horror thriller buff, this is definitely a must see. But I also feel like there's quite a bit about this film that just won't appeal to the general audience.
Okay, that's fair, man. Yeah, I'm in a kind of interesting boat that's kind of, I don't know, I think maybe in between you guys. I think that this movie is very, 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 very well made. And the plot itself kind of underserved how well made it was. There's just an incredible amount of creative cinematography. Set pieces are beautiful. The use of wide angle lenses is just immaculate. Because every single scene you're looking at the background, be like, oh fuck, what's gonna pop up, right?
You want
what's back there? What's back
everything
there?
was framed. Everything was framed where like they wanted you to look at other things. It was great.
Really great.
Like
setup.
I said, the mystery was in front of you while you watched the movie.
The world intrigue was there.
Mm-hmm.
And because of such, it felt like everything in this movie was very, very, very intentional. And I appreciate that this movie did that, because there's some scenes, there's some angles, there's some moments that all feel like, you know, on a grander scale of things could probably be a little bit throwaway. But when you really, really start zoning in on what the hell is going on in the grander scheme of things, it's very meticulous. There's like some things that are just like very specifically placed, or we're very specifically looking at this thing for a reason, right? And they're saying, you know, like different props and stuff. They do that with like the card, right? I won't say much more than that, but the card scene, there's like a downward angle right directly on it, so you can see that. You can see the other things that are on the table. Things like that felt very, very purposeful in this movie, and they were really trying to like play with our emotions the entire time. And I felt that was the way that they utilized the sound design and the camera work together in unison made for this sort of vessel for this movie to be carried in a very good direction. But the pilot of that vessel, the how would you say it? The engineer of the train was seemingly, to me, just a little bit tired. He's been riding this train for a really long time, and he was like, I'm gonna be here. I'm here. I'm present. I don't know if I'm gonna do much more than stoke these coals, right? Because it to me, the plot felt interesting enough to keep my attention, but was very samey in comparison to pretty much any other serial killer movie we've ever seen. And I get that, like, that probably was intentional, and that's probably what is a big part of the reason why people like this movie so much, because we've seen, obviously, a massive amount of people come out and be like, yo, this movie's sick, right? Especially of recent, especially within this past week, especially the previews that went out like a month and a half ago. People were starting to get previews for this movie. People have been raving about this film, and I felt like the plot was just a little bit underbaked for me. It's a slow burn, and kind of put this into context. Like, it felt to me like, because Garrick said the ending is a Stephen King ass ending. 100% agree. My problem is that the rest of the movie feels like a J.D. Salinger book with a Stephen King ending, and it's just this like slow cook, slow burn. And you're just like, all right, we're ramping up.
Sprinkling of stress all throughout, right?
Right, just tension. And then we get this ending that felt very like, oh, we're getting a peak now. And then it kind of like dropped off. Like after like that moment of the you know, the final act with the car. And
Look, all I'm gonna say is, like, I don't know like how you guys were like sat with the ending, but like as I was sitting there, and like as the ending played out, I was just like, why did you let that person do what they did just now?
Yeah.
Question mark. Like, anyways, and like also like that was the one thing that sat the weirdest to me, like on a scene. I was like, that felt weird. And then also, like, I had to mention this. I need to mention this because it slipped by me before. Miss Monroe, respectfully, you haven't seen enough Nicolas Cage performances. I consider myself a Nicolas Cage fan.
Okay, yeah.
And I love him. But if there is one thing that man cannot do, it is fully erase every aspect of his being. And we got not one, not
Say
two,
it. Yeah, say it.
but
Say it.
3 poos. And I almost fucking died.
Because
Almost laughed. Almost laughed.
Devin
I was just like, he
mentioned-
did it. He didn't bahoo. He actually fucking bahooed just now. And like, I was just like, I love you, Nick, but you can't do that. Everybody, that's just a meme, brother.
Devin had mentioned there was a few times during this movie that I started giggling. And most of the giggles were from this fucking ha ha guy that was in our fucking theater. The other giggles were anytime Nicolas Cage did something Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and you're just like, damn, I've seen this compilation video. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's fucking nuts, man. But on the other hand, though, Nicolas Cage really does carry this fucking movie on his back.
He really does.
Because him as
the
Longlegs, what was that?
The interview scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it like honestly, that scene
was the hardest scene in the movie. Like,
probably one of the best thriller scenes in a movie I think we've ever seen before.
Like,
because that scene alone is
she earned that 170
is perfect.
BPM.
It was perfect, dude. Devin.
Also that and the I don't know if you noticed, but in the TV one, when he started looking at people through the TV.
Oh yeah. They're watching.
Legitimately looking at people. If you noticed it, he was singling people out personally and pointing at them.
It had some really good moments where like it did very subtle things. That's what's rough about this film, because like I feel like if you're into like, it's a film that you can't just watch, you have to watch.
There's
like,
a level of attention that you have to give this movie.
Like this is not like that's what I think is that's why I think I'm divided by this film, because I personally enjoyed it because I like this kind of shit. But like I know there's gonna be a large chunk of people that are gonna like walk away from the theater and be like, huh? Because like they watched it like a popcorn flick, right? And like it does this, you literally can't watch this movie like it's just not. It's an art film,
right?
Yeah, this movie, like I said, you have to watch this movie. You have to pay attention to the scenery. This did what I love from mystery thrillers. It pulled me in, made me pay attention. I barely ate my popcorn. When the movie got to the anxiety part, I was just scarfing my red vines, and I was just like, like,
yeah, my icy melted because I stopped drinking it.
Yeah, like it did a good job in pulling me in. It pulled me in. It made me pay attention to every aspect of it. Regardless of its faults, it's just like it made me pay attention. I was zoned in. And I know Ernell was too, because like a lot of the times when him and I go movies, anything you could make fun of in a movie,
we will.
Anything,
100% we will, dude. Like
even you can,
dude.
At A Quiet Place, when they're screaming in the apartment, I waited like a second and it was silent, and I just went, shh. And then Ernell started cracking up, and so did a bunch of other people.
It was so funny, dude. See, like my thing, Devin, is that you're right. Like the movie did find very creative ways to like lock us the fuck in. I just wish what they were locking us in for had more going on, because this was a very, very cut and dry serial killer film. If you look at it from like on paper, it's very much a like FBI agent trying to solve the thing, finds clues, solves the mystery behind the clues, finds this clue, solves the mystery behind this clue, and then boom, interaction, big peak moment, crazy shit happens, and then throw some occult shit in there, right? And that's kind of like what this movie is. Whereas I wanted something that was more. I wanted this movie's production level and creativity on top of a plot that was closer to the little things. I don't know if you guys remember that Denzel Washington and Jared Leto and Jared Leto's this creepy asshole fucking.
That was a good, and I can see that too, right? And like, which is crazy too, because like everything else about the movie was so well serviced, right? Performances, great. Sound design, good. Effects, great. Like cinematography, fantastic. Like even the dialogue was actually really fucking good.
Incredibly good. Yes.
It's just the overarching plot was just, we've been here before, right?
Yeah, enough so that by the time that we were getting towards like the moment,
once the plot had been laid bare, you're like, I know where we're. This is what's gonna happen.
And we're like, okay, like because it was a moment in Devon. You remember the moment where the person pops up on screen and everyone's like, oh, like in our theater, like everyone lost their fucking minds over this part because you're like, oh shit, right? Like they kind of jumped out.
You weren't expecting it. That's the part I was talking about.
You weren't expecting that to pop up on you. And I was like, that came and I was like, oh shit. And then I was like, oh really? That's what they're doing? And it wasn't like disappointment, but it was like, oh, okay. Like, and then it clicked to me, and then they have a 5-minute exposition to explain all of it. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. See, in the exposition, the exposition, I'm like, and I don't know, maybe this was just like my ADHD ass, like because like, there was, I want to say there was like a scene, and because like the film's broken up into 3 parts. There was a scene in part 2 where like there was like a specific line, and I was like, and then there was like a line that was said, and I was just like, I figured it out, I got it. And I literally, and like, and I'm sure you guys probably got it too. Like, I didn't feel like it was subtle.
We've all seen enough horror movies and thriller movies to know where this is going.
You're like, and then like, but at that point, then you're just waiting for it to resolve because you knew where it was going to go, and that's where it embittered me a little.
And before I toss the ball to Devin here, because you raised your hand, the exposition part near the end of the movie, I wouldn't have minded if they didn't simultaneously explain too much and nothing at all at the exact time, at the exact same time. Because I was like, okay, this is great. Like, I'm getting the background story of like where all this stuff was happening. Oh my god, wow, that's fucking crazy.
I wanted the gritty.
Was happening all at the same time. And then I'm like,
I wanted the gritty.
Wait, so like, how is he doing that? And they didn't explain any of that, which is fine. I don't need them to do that. But if you're going to explain everything, explain everything, right? Like I need to know all of it if you're going to give me all of it. You know what I mean? Anyways, Devin, your hand was up.
Also, like, it wasn't until you get to that part near the end, but they put out so many clues onto, you know, where Longlegs was. You know what I mean? And you see all the little breadcrumbs everywhere, and once you figure it out, you're like, oh, they showed us the whole time. The whole time. You know?
So. Oh, and see, that's another thing too that I want to give this movie some accolades for. The movie is incredibly symbolic, and I think that's something that goes to the mass credit of Oz himself. I think that he had a very good idea of how he wanted that trail of breadcrumbs to lead. And the symbolism is massive. I mean, and I don't just mean in like the weird alphabet that Longlegs has, or like how they do that, however, like, you know, the general sort of thing that we keep seeing in random places throughout the course of the movie. But it's down to like smaller, minute details too, like the her mom is if I don't know if you guys realize it, but she's a hoarder. She's hoarding stuff all over the house, right?
Yeah, noticed that.
Well, and hoarding is a very massive, overwhelming majority of the time. Hoarding is a result of someone who has emotional trauma, and their brain has found a way to sort of like self-mechanize to compartmentalize that emotional trauma.
Coping. Yeah,
they're coping. They're coping with stuff, and that
poorly,
was very.
But that's how they're coping.
that was a very interesting detail. When I picked up on how much sort of clutter was at her mom's house, I was like, oh, that's interesting, because like that goes to show sort of like this deeper detail into what happened this day that we're sort of introduced to at the very, very beginning of the movie. And that extra detail made it feel a little bit more real for me. And it had me more hooked into the world. And actually, the beginning of the movie had me more sucked in to a thriller movie than I think I've ever been, because that initial scene was so good. So good. So interesting. Got me fucking hooked right from the goddamn bat. And then we see like the title thing, the credits at the beginning of the movie thing, and then we were in a regular camera thing, because when I noticed that they were going into the classic 90s film,
like the camcorder camera,
I was like, oh, that's sick. A part of me kind of hopes a majority of the movies in that, right? They didn't do that, thankfully. A good probably like 30-70 of the film is that way. But
yeah, they'd use it a few times.
But that opening scene was just so fucking good that I was like, oh, okay, I see. And so I could feel me and Devin eating our popcorn faster, because we're like, we were here for the fucking ride, baby. Let's do this. And then the rest of the movie is just kind of like, okay, yeah, cool.
When it got to the beginning credits scene after that initial intro, Ernell just immediately went, he's like, what if that's the movie?
Yeah, because it was so funny, because the very last line that like Nick Cage says in that part where he's like, I forgot my long legs, huh? And then it like cuts to like the credits, and I was like, what if that was it? What if that was the whole movie? Was this quick 5-minute intro, and he said was I forgot my long legs. That was so fucking funny. Boys, I think we beat the horse enough here. Devin, should people see this movie right away, and what is your score?
To reiterate what Garrick said, if you like horror movies, if you love thrillers, this is definitely a must-see. If you think this is going to be a popcorn flick, that you're just going to watch it and watch people die like some Terrifier movie or something,
this is not a slasher.
Yeah, this is not a slasher like people were trying to say it was. That's why I iterated that this isn't a gruesome, gory horror movie. It is not in any way. Is there gore? Yeah, there is. There's some stuff. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10.
All right.
No,
I like it, my friend. Garrick, should people see this right away, and what is your score?
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, like if you're a Nick Cage fan, like go see it. If you're a horror thriller fan, go see it. But I have a hard time recommending this to like somebody that just wants to like go pick up and watch a movie on like your weekend, or like go catch a matinee, or like even like go watching it as like a date film. Like that, like this movie requires like you to watch it, really watch it. So just keep that in mind. Like I guess if this is something you want to go see, like it's an interesting watch. If you are prepared to pay attention for 2 whole hours. And like I mean really pay attention, because like every shot is framed with purpose, and it wants you to watch it exactly the way it is filmed. But with that being said, I do feel like there's just a ton that like either will like even a general audience won't enjoy, or like it's just not going to have like that general appeal, and like I have a really hard time rating it because of that. And I think I'm gonna give this like a 6.5.
Whoa, dude! Ouch. Hey, I mean that's okay. That's fine. That's a good rating. It's a fine movie.
Yeah,
right?
Like I think it's a really, really interesting movie, but like I think there are thrillers that do its thing better, and I think there are horrors that do its thing better, and I think there are serial killer this tries to combine a bunch of stuff, and like it does great at some of them and okay at others, bad at none of them. But it doesn't excel at anything, and that's where I had a rough time.
A jack of all trades, but a master of none.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. I will say actually, if I'll turn it from a different angle here. I think that you should see this movie if you are a movie buff. If you're a person that
Yes,
like watches
that's-
movies for
That's a great way to put it.
cinema, then you will have a wonderful time with this movie, because this is a art piece. Like that's what this movie is. It is pretty, it is smart, it is technical, it is technically sound. There's just a lot of really great craft in this movie. But unfortunately, I don't think that was quite enough to have me be able to tell people, yeah, this is a movie you have to see immediately. I do think that this movie was made for a specific someone, specific some people, and for them, sure. But for anybody else, I'd say you can probably wait for this to hit rentals or streaming, to be honest with you. I know that we're getting a lot of hype with it. It's going to be hard for you guys at home to keep your hands off of it, to stay away from theaters or whatever, because everyone's going to be like, oh, fuck Longlegs, oh, fuck Longlegs. And it's going to be wild because I feel like we're going to be kind of the only ones that are really going to be able to say, like, yeah, I mean, like, it was good. Like, because everyone else that I'm seeing is saying, like, no, this movie's fucking outrageous, dude. Yeah, I mean, maybe go see it. But don't hold your fucking breath. I think that there's some room for you to wait. And with that said, because of such, I think that I would be happy to rate this. I think this is going to be a 7 for me. Because I think that this movie is good at a lot of what it does, but I'm a man of storytelling, and this movie told a story. It did not tell a story that I thought was particularly original or enough to keep me around. And Nicolas Cage, being as top notch as he fucking is, as creepy as he is, as Longlegs, is not enough to keep me around, fellas. Not enough. So that puts us at a 7.3333333333, which in this case we're rounding down. That is going to be an official 7 out of 10 from us.
That's respectable. That's respectable.
I think that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's okay. Fine movie, gentlemen. But you people at home are fine too. God damn, you fine, y'all. Y'all fine as fuck. Tell them, Devin. Tell them they're fine. Mm-hmm.
You're all right.
Yeah, you're all right.
You're all right. Yeah, because this has been 20,000 Films Under the Sea. Your choice for all the nerdy pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you wanted each and every week. If you liked what you heard, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics of the show, get exclusive content, and have early access episodes before they go live on podcast and video services near you. But if you've emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that is cool with us. You watch us record the show live right here at twitch.tv/GoodKrakenShow. You can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, hitting subscribe, or by leaving a review on our podcast channel by searching 20,000 Films Under the Sea. We'll be right there, waiting for you. We have to get going, everybody. But until next time, my friends. Woohoo!
Hail Satan.
Oh yeah, that was good.